guys, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to give you a basic overview of the verb tenses system in English. So, tenses is the term described by a verb sound by its grammatical form. There are three main verb tenses in English: past, present, and future. The past and present and future tenses are divided into four aspects: simple, progressive, or we call continuous, perfect, and perfect progressive. There are 12 main verb tenses that English learners should know. Simple tenses. I'll start with the simple tenses. These are probably first tenses you learn in English. Simple tenses usually refer to single action. In general, simple tenses express facts or situations that exist in the present, in the past, or in the future. So, the first is simple present. Simple present indicates action that is generally true or habitual. For the example is I drive home every day. In the second, simple past. Simple past indicates an action took place before the present moment and that has no real connections with the present times. For example, I drove home every day. The third, simple future. Simple future indicates an action will be taken after the present times and that has no real connection with the present times. For example, I will drive home every day. Progressive or continuous tenses. Let's go on to the progressive tenses. I use progressive tenses to talk about unfinished event. Progressive tenses are also called continuous tenses. For the first, past progressive. Past progressive indicates an action going on sometime in the past or action in the past that is longer in duration than another action in the past. For example, I was driving when you called. The second, present progressive. Present progressive indicates an action that is taking place at the moment of speaking or indicates an action that starts in the past and continuing at the present times. For example, I'm sitting now. The third, future progressive. Future progressive indicates an action in the future that is longer in duration and then another action in the future. For example, I will be driving when you call. Next, perfect tense. Now let's look at the perfect tense. Perfect tense causes the confusion. To put it simply, they express the idea that one event happens before another event. For the first, present perfect. Present perfect indicates an action that has been completed sometime before the present moment with a result that affects the present situation. For example, I have driven that road. Second, past perfect. Past perfect indicates an action in the past that had been completed before another time or even in the past. For example, I had already driven that road in the past. The third, future perfect. Future perfect indicates an action in the future that will have been completed before another time or even in the future. For example, I will have driven 200 miles by tomorrow. Perfect progressive tenses. Finally, let's look at the present progressive tenses. Generally, perfect progressive tenses express duration or how long. Perfect progressive tenses usually include the adverb for or since. For the first, present perfect progressive. Present perfect progressive indicates an action that starts in the past and continuing at the present times. For example, I have been driving since this morning. The second, past perfect progressive. Past perfect progressive indicates an action in the past that took place before another time or event in the past and continued during the second event or time point in the past. For example, I had been driving for 3 hours before I stopped to get gas. The third, future progressive tenses. Future progressive tenses indicates an action in the future that will have been continuing until another time or even in the future. For example, I will have driven for 5 hours by the time I arrive. Okay guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope it's useful for you. See you next time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.